So we do have a tiki bar on board, and the first reason is why not. The other reason is sometimes you have to do a podcast with Speedify, and what you need for that is a studio.
So what are you doing differently this season than previous seasons?
Go ahead.
So in previous seasons, what did we do? This is boat number 4. We visited roughly, I think, 30 countries. We got lost in the jungle. We participated into the largest water fight in the world. We tried food that we probably shouldn't even name on that stream because it would not be a good idea. We visited a lot of crazy places. We tried many bars around the world. We wrote books as well about traveling. We did a lot of things for the past 7 years. Diving, we did a lot of diving streams as well. A lot of things.
So
So
with
for-
the diving streams, do you record
Yeah.
it and actually stream it later? I mean,
No, it's live. No, it's live
Live
streaming.
even with
You
the-
can do that. Yeah.
You can. It's just cheating, but all right. So
Exactly.
even those were live. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And for this sailing season, I think we want to do more of that kind
It's
of
going to
stuff.
be the key. That's going to be the center point of this season sailing, going on the water, exploring, and also taking care of the environment. We want to start doing artificial reef live on stream.
Anything you're doing differently this year that you haven't mentioned?
One thing we're doing really differently is it's a detail, but it's something you have to think about when you're on a boat. I'm taking much better care of the gear.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that before we used to like throw it around and smash it with rocks. I'm saying that when you're on a boat, a piece of equipment that you will leave on the table for 2 days will die because of the salty air, humidity. So this year, really one of the focus was to be extremely careful with the gear because we cannot kill a LiveU box every year. It's eventually LiveU will say, okay, that's too much. And then, as we said, we are also going to focus way more on diving, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, you have to be so careful. The equipment all has to
Yeah.
go way back in its spot, locked in that
Yeah.
pelican case, right? I guess you have.
That's what we're
cases
doing.
and everything.
I have cases with humidity meter in it to check the level of humidity in my boxes, and yes.
Yeah. Very thorough this time.
Good.
LiveU rolls their eyes, watching you corrode another box. Like, no.
No,
They,
I'm not.
they probably
Yeah.
have a new. They probably have some new model every year they want you using anyway, right?
No, because the one we're using right now and the one that works with the boat is quite specific. It works with some antennas that we have on the boat, so I think that's why we're annoying. Actually, when we knock at their door saying, "Hey, we just broke a new one," I think they're annoyed because they're like, "Oh, we don't even know if we still have those." You know, like they're like prehistorical, and they're like 5 years old. So. I think that's the problem. We need that tech that is quite old, and I'm not sure they have much more left.
So, how do you grow your audience? Right. I mean, obviously, you've got a big audience of people who love watching. Like, how do you get them watching? How do you keep them coming back?
I think one main thing that I think that we're really good at is keeping our audience engaged and involved. Like we really do value the connection we have with the stream, with the viewers. Like I think that's one of the things that we love about streaming is that we have that direct contact with our viewers. So, we're constantly reading and answering and sharing and conversing with everybody, and I feel like maybe that's one of many
I think that's our gimmick. Our gimmick is constant conversation, and that works for us. That might not work for other channels.
Yeah.
I think the keys are the main key, and I'm saying that I'm really bad at it, but being regular is the main key. It doesn't matter how often you stream, how long you stream, as long as you have fixed hours and you can stick to it. Then honestly, it's as simple as find what you love and show what you love doing. It's don't fake it. Just if you find something you like, and it can be anything. Go into the forest to find mushrooms, or just like I don't know, just anything. If that's what you like to do it. Show that some people who like the same thing will find it, and if you do it regularly, you'll find your audience for sure.
Rinse and repeat, as some people say.
Exactly.
So technology. Why don't we talk about that for a minute? What do you have on the boat for
this year I went overboard. This boat is crazy. I think we have a total of like 6 or 7 cameras, depending on what we need. We have 2 different drones, one underwater drone, one underwater drone, one flying drone. We have 2 different kind of underwater setup, depending if you want to send a drone, or we have a shoulder camera that I built myself for diving. And then under this, the map table, it's basically our streaming backpack. And in there we have the LiveU setup that is linked to wireless HDMI, because definitely cables are not a good idea on boats. And that way we can move freely up to 300 meters away from the boat. So the boat is the streaming station, but we can get away from it and it still works.
Okay.
And we have antennas as well. Yeah, a lot of antennas. And
nice.
Starlink.
And Starlink. All right. So how's the Starlink working for you?
So
he asked.
There's a lot of there is a lot of goods and bads, I think. It's an amazing piece of, as someone who loves everything technological, I mean, I want to hug it. It's so beautiful. It's such a perfect piece of technology. I don't think that it's the best thing for streaming, at least not by itself. Right now we're using LiveU, and as a combination with LiveU, it's fantastic. Because it can catch up when the SIM cards will drop. But by itself, the upload is a bit low, and there is a lot of little drops. Like, not that many, but enough that it will be annoying over the course of an hour. I think it's really promising. Not there just yet. And the price for what we would like to do, for example, crossing an ocean and having connection all along the way, the price are still too high. The maritime pack, I think, is 2,500 euros. Way too much for us.
Oh, per month is that high?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got one of the RV ones.
That's what we have as well.
$139 a month or whatever.
And it works really well. And for coastal cruising, it should be fine, even when we're moving, because it works when you move really slow, and that's what a boat does. It moves really slow. It's a really good addition. And for us, because we're nomads, it's amazing to have that really powerful like hotspot on the boat, not just for streaming, but also for everything else.
So what do you use when you leave the boat? Is that just a LiveU?
We have 2 different backpack. Do you want to talk about yours?
Yeah, sure. Especially if I'm on my own, if I'm doing just some regular land travel, I like to pack light. You know, I'm not a very strong person, so the smaller the better for me. So I still use the LiveU Solo and 3 SIM cards and just the, little Sony action cam that everyone uses. That's still my fallback, especially when I'm on my own. In places like Thailand and stuff where the connection is fantastic, pretty much everywhere you go, you don't really need anything over the top. So that's my gear for when I'm alone on land. Yeah.
Mine is a bit bigger. Well, used to be a bit bigger. Normally I have a backpack with the LU600. It's one of the largest unit from LiveU, and I'm using a professional camera because I'm a photographer, so I like to have good images. But last year I realized that carrying an equipment who's roughly 30,000 euro out of your boat on the waves and everything was extremely dumb. So this year we won't be doing that. So we have a setup on the boat, and we're gonna have a lens setup, and the lens setup will basically be a phone, a hotspot, and the hotspot working with the phone with Speedify.
Yeah.
Because that way we can have a setup that is much cheaper. 4G now works so well that you pretty much have it anywhere.
Yeah.
And when it's a bit slow, well, that's why we have Speedify, to get a stronger connection. And that way also will be more free. There is so many times where that setup is a little bit intimidating to the people we meet, or that kind of get us noticed way too much. If we just have a stabilizer like that and a phone on it, we look like any other tourist. So that will be a lens setup during that trip on the boat.
Excited to switch to that.
Yeah.
For the land stuff.
So, what's your relation? So, LiveU, you guys you're sponsored by them, I take it.
I never know. It's a
Partnership.
As live streamer. Yeah, as a live streamer for the past few years, we work with many companies, and it's just, honestly, sometimes it feels more like friendship.
Yeah.
We love the team. We just sent a gift a few days ago. So it's really like it's just, I think they're interested in what we're doing. We really like the team. When we met, it clicked, and that's it. We never really asked anything. It's just, one day we talked about the project. They were into it, and that's it.
So do you have sponsors? I mean, I think for a lot of people, the technology part of the streaming you can sort of figure out, but the mystery of sponsors and how you get them and how you negotiate a deal is so mysterious to so many people, right? Nobody talks about it.
I think it still is. It also depends. I think the first thing to think about when you look at sponsors is how much you value your audience. Because it's extremely easy to find sponsors. Any streamers can do it, even in the first weeks of streaming. What's difficult to find is good sponsors. And
pushing NFTs on your audience or something.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's something you can only do once or twice before you're absolutely losing the trust of your audience. And that's something we'll absolutely never do. So I think in the course of almost 7 years, we had really not that many sponsors. This year on this trip, we have a few, but they're not like money sponsors. They're like gear sponsors. Basically, there were things we wanted to try and use on the boat. We contacted those brands, and I think as a streamer, you'll be really surprised to see the result when you just ask. When you just say, hey, hi, this is me. I like that. Should we work together? You get a lot of positive response for that.
Who your sponsors are? Or you don't want to get into that.
No, of course. So we have a few. We have a company called Blue Tree. They have a device called a Nomad. It's a tankless diving system. So for us on the boat, because we don't have space and we don't have a compressor for diving tank, it's a thing that you just plug in the wall, it charges, and then you can go diving with it without having a tank. We have a great company, French company that focus on solar power everything. They're called Solar Brothers, and
Hey,
Nice.
and they give us a solar oven. Fantastic contraption, absolutely amazing to have on the boat. And then we have the best anchor in the world. It's come from an Israeli brand called Viking Anchor, and they're we feel so safe with them. All those people were really nice to believe and trust in the project. And of course we have LiveU, and of course we have Unlimited IRL as well, following us on that project.
Oh, nice. All of those, you just kind of called them?
It's some of LiveU and Unlimited IRL. Yeah, LiveU and Unlimited IRL was more of we met and it just clicked. It was love at first sight. The three other ones, it's I kind of highlighted what I wanted to do this season, and then I contacted brands that we wanted to work with. The three main one I wanted to work with were really happy to work with us. So that was great.
Nice.
One thing we're doing differently this season is sharing our project and asking if people want
I see a question from Deep Video that says that asks if even if you're new. Yes, even if you're
There we go.
new, you should request for sponsorship. I
Mm.
think the main obstacle between you and sponsorship is that you're not asking for it because you're thinking I'm never going to get it. Many brands are looking for any kind of coverage, any kind of like exposure. I think it's also depending on how you ask. When I ask those brands, when I contact a brand like LiveU, the gears they send us is almost $3,000. I didn't say, hey, hi, give me that for free. I said, this is what I want to do. This is how you can help me, and this is how I can help you. This is what I'm going to do for you. This is how I'm going to present the product. And on top of that, I want to talk to you to make sure that this is a great partnership. You present it as a partnership. You don't present it as, hey, I want free stuff. But yes, I will say even more like we're a selling channel. I think we're the only one live selling channel in the world. So we're kind of a niche content. So especially if your content is niche, don't hesitate to call, contact, and connect with sponsors that are in your ecosystem, because yes, definitely that could work. Yeah. And the best way to approach them, have a good media pack, have a good project to present, and just be nice.
So what goes into a good media pack?
Your stats, good presentation of yourself, and some cool photos.
Just your goal of like what, say you're starting a streaming project.
It doesn't need to be pages and pages and pages. It needs to look great. And if you're not great at making things look great, good news, there's a lot of templates online that are half the way done, and you just have to just fill in the blank.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified when we post more tech talks, interviews, and tutorials.